Once in a Lifetime, Chapter 14. When I woke the next day, I regretted not telling Madeline last night what I was planning to do. I had no idea how she and Odette were going to react when I told them, but it didn't matter. I had already made up my mind. However, after I given my decision a little more thought, I wanted to know what other people close to me thought before I went through with it. So, right after our weekly Monday morning staff meeting, which included a 10-minute video of Jim roaming around one of our job sites in a hard hat and an orange vest, I asked Anna to accompany me to the ladies' room. After she leaned down and checked the stalls to make sure we were alone, she folded her arms and looked me straight in the eyes. Okay, why were you so quiet in the meeting? You didn't even laugh at the silly video of Jim. What's going on? Everything is fine, I replied, and then I added with my voice shaken, I guess. Anna gasped. What's going on with you? And why are you sounding so weird? Does this have anything to do with Barry? Is he back in the picture and still trying to get you to move to Maine? Did he? I held up my hand to interrupt her. I haven't heard from him since the day he dumped me. Okay, if this is not about Barry, who is it about? That's what I'd like to tell you, but not here. I glanced toward the door. Do you have any plans for lunch today? Anna gave me a puzzled look. Hello? I have the same plans I usually have on Monday. Half price burritos at Juanita's. That's how you and I usually start off our week, remember? Oh, yeah. I paused and checked my watch. We better leave now or we won't find a seat. We arrived at Juanita's 10 minutes later. There was a larger than usual crowd, so there were no seats available, so we got our orders to go. When we got back to the office, we headed for our break room. I was glad it was empty. As soon as we sat down and started gnawing on our burritos, I slid my chair closer to Anna and said in a low tone, remember that man I told you about who needs a new kidney? His sister and I have become quite close. Anna stopped chewing and gave me a bewildered look. I figured you would get close to that woman. I gave her a dismissive wave. She's got a lot of other friends and family, so I'm not the only one trying to keep her spirits up. You can forget about her becoming too attached to me. What about her brother? Did they find a donor yet? That's what I hope to find out real soon. Anna suddenly looked as concerned as I was. Really? You told me he was on dialysis. I thought that was supposed to keep a person functioning indefinitely. Well, indefinitely could mean a few days, weeks, or months. If Ronald loses his will to live, that could probably make his situation even more critical. Well, there's only so much that can be done. I took a very loud and deep breath before I continued. I'm going to get tested. Anna's eyes got wide and her mouth dropped open. There was a wad of burrito still in her cheek. She chewed and swallowed it with such a huge gulp. Her eyes crossed. Tested for what? Are you telling me you're going to donate one of your kidneys? I nodded so vigorously my neck ached. And don't you dare try to talk me out of it, I advised. Talk you out of trying to help save a man's life? Psst. Anna waved her hand and gave me an incredulous look. Honey, here's the last thing I'd ever do. I think what you're going to do is so awesome. There should be more people in the world like you. I was taken aback by her reaction. A huge smile formed on my face. I I am so happy to hear you say that, I squealed. I don't know much about things like this, but I do know there are some risks. Remember my cousin Lillian who lives in Baltimore? You met her and her husband, Alan, at my Christmas Eve party last year. I remember her. 3 years ago, Alan needed a new kidney and she gave him one of hers. They had tested a bunch of folks and she was the only one suitable. How is he doing now? He is healthier than ever. Thank God. Anna choked on a sob and grabbed a napkin. I'm sorry I get emotional every time I think about Alan. She dabbed a tear from the corner of her eye. After she honked into the napkin and wiped her nose, she gave me a pensive look. If you can help that poor man live a fairly normal life, even if it's for only a few more years, I say go for it. When are you going to get tested? I'm going to the hospital with Judith this evening. I'll know more after I meet with the doctor. How does Ronald feel about all this? Other than you and my parents and Judith, I haven't mentioned it to anyone else. I'll let him know this evening. What? You haven't even told Madeline or Odette? I don't want to tell them until after my test results come back, and only if I'm a match. Why? Do you think they'll talk you out of going through with it? I shook my head. Nobody is going to make me change my mind. I heard a cough. Anna and I turned around at the same time. Dennis was standing in the doorway with a can of Coke in his hand. How long have you been standing there? I asked. Long enough, he replied. He strolled over to the table with a blank look on his face. I heard everything and I commend you. Dennis, I began. I know you like to keep our customers coworkers informed about what's going on, but please keep this to yourself. I don't want the whole office to know about this yet. And when and if I do, I want to be the one to tell them. Don't worry, my lips are sealed, Dennis assured me. The next thing I knew, he placed my hand his hand on my shoulder. Vanessa, if you're not a match, maybe I am. You can let that poor fellow, his sister, and everyone else involved know. As a matter of fact, you have my permission to give them my contact information when you go to the hospital today or whenever you feel like it. Anna whimpered. My eyes got as big as saucers. Are you serious? I asked. Of course. I'll admit I'm not as robust as I was 10 years ago, but I'm still in pretty good health, Dennis said, patting his stomach. My kidneys are in showroom condition. What about your family? Anna asked. You mean the son I only hear from when he needs money? Or the ex-wife who only communicates with me when the alimony checks are late? Other than a few cousins scattered here and there, this job is my real family. Dennis, are you serious about getting tested? I asked. I'm as serious as a kidney transplant, he replied with a nervous laugh. This was the first time I'd ever seen so much sympathy displayed on his face. I was so elated I lost my appetite and couldn't finish my burrito. I hadn't even touched my Diet Coke. When I returned to my desk and checked my cell phone for messages, I saw that Judith had called. She asked if I could leave work early so we can go to the hospital around 4 p.m. I didn't waste any time trotting into Jim's office. He raised his eyebrows when I shut the door and dropped down in one of the two seats in front of his desk. Uh-oh, he muttered. You're scaring me. I shook my head. Don't worry, it's nothing for you to be scared about. Do you mind if I leave early today? Jim gave me a mocked, annoyed look and hunched his shoulders. No, I don't mind. May I ask you why you need to leave? I spent the next 10 minutes telling him the whole story. When I finished, he read back in his chair and cupped his hands. Vanessa, you're a brave young woman. I am behind you all the way. How much time will you need to take off for the surgery if your kidney is suitable? I'm not sure yet, but I have more than 6.5 weeks vacation accrued, and I have twice as much sick leave on the books. Jim nodded and gave me a pensive look. You do what you have to do and don't worry about work. If you need more time off, that won't be a problem. So as long as you promise you'll come back. I was thrilled to pieces that he was as supportive as Anna and Dennis. If my siblings and the rest of the people I had to tell weren't, I wouldn't be too upset. I'll call the temp agency and see if that same woman who filed in for me when I went to Hawaii last year will be available on the dates I need to take off. That is, if I need to take off, I might not even be a match. Let's hope you are. Good luck to you, Jim said. And then he did something he never done before. He gave me a big hug. Like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Bye. Bye-bye.